Riyadh city is the capital of Saudi Arabia. The city's name is derived from the plural of the Arabic rada, meaning gardens or meadows, so named for a natural fertility provided by its location at the juncture of Wadis Hanifa and Al-Ba. The spectacular sight of Riyadh from the air, illuminated in the evening by city lights, is reminiscent of its eponymous meadows, a bright sea of lights dot the desert as if fluorescent flower gardens have suddenly blossomed among its dark contours. The city is located in the Mintaqat al-Riyadh, one of the country's 13 provinces, and is situated in the central portions of both the country and the larger Arabian Peninsula. Few of the world's cities have transformed as rapidly as Riyadh, which grew from a small, fortified desert village in the 17th century into a modern metropolis of several million inhabitants in the 20th century. Area city, 600 square miles 1,550 square km. Pop 2010-5, 188,286. Life in Riyadh is concentrated around the city's more than 4,000 mosques and its numerous busy shopping centers. The city's central core and its many souks, marketplaces, attract heavy pedestrian traffic, emphasizing the city's intense feeling of vitality. As residents of a major city in a mainly Muslim, see Islam, country, Riyadh's inhabitants adhere to a number of social norms that include segregation of the sexes and the need to protect the privacy of the family. Recreational activities are often a family affair, and large public gatherings are mainly restricted to male attendants. However, many activity centers allow women and families to attend at special times or in reserved areas. Riyadh's physical layout is dominated by its street system, a highly defined grid made up of 1.25 mile by 1.25 mile 2 km by 2 km square blocks, which provides a network across the cityscape. This grid system is navigable, but it is also considered by some to be confining, because of its regimented compartmentalization of the city's communities and neighborhoods. The city of Riyadh is located approximately 1,950 feet 600 meters above sea level in eastern Najd highland, a region largely dominated by a rocky plateau landscape, in the center of the Arabian Peninsula. Najd's broad, mountain-studded plateau gives way in the center and east to a series of escarpments arching from north to south, including Al-Kuf, G al-Ishar, and, the longest and highest of these, the Tuwaiq Mountains. With a length of some 800 miles 1,300 kilometers, the Tuwaiq Mountains constitute the backbone of the most densely settled part of Najd, of which Riyadh is a part. The topography of Riyadh itself, however, is relatively flat. Soils in and around the city are made up of an alluvium of gravel, sand, silt, clay deposits, and a limestone subsoil. Riyadh's climate is characterized by extreme heat in the summer, with average temperatures reaching the low 100s F, low 40s C, and coolness in the winter, with lows averaging in the low 50s F, low 10s C, though there is a large difference between daytime and nighttime temperatures. Because of the distance from major bodies of water and the general scarcity of precipitation in the city, humidity in Riyadh remains low throughout the year, especially during the summer. When precipitation does occur, it is largely confined to the months between November and May. Riyadh itself is an amorphous expanse of neighborhoods and subdivisions bounded by wide roads lined with commercial strip development. Two of the city's most recognizable tower buildings are Al Faisalia Center, which contains office space, a number of restaurants, and a luxury hotel, and the Markaz Al Mamlaka Kingdom Center, which offers an expansive complex of office, retail, dining, and accommodation spaces located within and around its landmark tower. Between 1930 and the early 21st century, the population of Riyadh grew from about 27,000 to more than 5 million, a dramatic increase rooted in high birth rates coupled with the rapid economic growth of the 1970s and 80s. During these years Riyadh also experienced an influx of immigrants, including foreign laborers. This influx contributed to a continuing, pervasive societal dependence on expatriate labor. By the beginning of the 21st century, Saudis accounted for only about 2/5 of Riyadh's workforce. In addition to foreign laborers, a large number of Saudis from elsewhere within the country moved to Riyadh during the 1970s and 80s, many of them from rural areas. This trend reflected the general migration of Saudis from rural areas to urban locations within the country that contributed in part to a massive reversal of the urban to rural ratio. While throughout Saudi Arabia in the early 1970s there existed one urban dweller for every 3 rural dwellers, by 1990 it was nearly the opposite, and the populations of urban areas such as Riyadh swelled dramatically. At the beginning of the 21st century, tens of thousands of Saudis continued to move from rural areas to the city of Riyadh each year. As the country's capital, Riyadh hosts numerous government ministries and public services headquarters, making the public sector the city's largest employer. The government employs more than one-third of the city's workforce and is the source of approximately half of Riyadh's total production of goods and services. Saudis account for more than 9/10 of total government employees, a stark contrast to some of the other employment sectors, which are dominated by foreign workers. In the private sector, more than 2/5 of the workforce is employed in services, about 1/4 in construction, more than 1/5 in trade, and about 1/10 in industry.